Hi guys, today I'm starting a new painting. It's this one. I got a commission from my younger daughter to make this painting for a bedroom. And the only problem is that she asked me to paint a white goat on a white background. All white. I mean, are you kidding me? So, how am I gonna do that in my style? I just don't know. So I started off trying to lay my white background, which is not white. It's an off-white color that I pre-mixed with this acrylic white, this tempera kind of white, but this is already an off-white. It's, if you compare one to the other, you might see that this is not the same color. This is titanium white and this is not that color. It's a more creamy white. And then I mixed a little bit of this purple and some yellow, some colors I had in here in my Stay Wet palette that I did on my previous video. I don't know if you saw it. I had this color and some yellow greenish tones, a little bit of this brown as well. So I put all in there really, and I got this off-white, which is a little bit to the lilac side, and I think it reads as a white. And I showed my daughter and she said she didn't want that, so she wanted really white. And it has been a struggle for me really to find out a way of painting as I like to paint and at the same time meet my daughter's wish. What don't we do for our children, right? So I'm thinking I gotta be creative with it, otherwise I won't have fun, I won't enjoy it. So I'm thinking about collaging on top of the background with some paper. I'm thinking, again, a very thin white paper. It could be tissue paper, but I think I want a little bit more texture. So I'm gonna use those really thin paper napkins. In fact, I have one here, which is this one. I'm gonna unfold it. It's quite thin and it has a little grain to it. So I'm gonna glue this, I'm gonna wrap this and glue it and get some texture with it. And maybe I'll paint on top of that then, I don't know, maybe with this tempera, which is quite transparent. And maybe I'll get this color to peek through a little bit. So I'm gonna try that. But first, let me show you the sketches I made before getting my sketch in here. I started out a few days ago sketching this goat here. This is the face that didn't fit in here, and then this is the body. That's the goat she wants. And then I did yesterday, I think, something else in here also. So this was a few days ago as well. And this was supposed to be the layout of the painting with the goat and a birthday cake, because my daughter asked me to paint this on the day of her birthday, which was a few days ago, but she didn't like this layout. She said she wanted just the goat, the white goat on the white background. So I did some more sketches of the goat, loose sketches here, just the paws, just the face and the ears, the eyes. Here the face is too small. I was just playing around, getting more familiar with my subject. Then I got this one and made it bigger and roughly sketched it here on the final piece. And that's where I'm at. So now I think I'm going to get my wood glue, because that's what I'm using to make the collage on the background. And while you're watching me do this background, let me tell you what a struggle, an inner struggle I've been having with this piece. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you feel the same. I love always getting to do something different because really I don't like doing the same thing over and over again. So when somebody asks me to do something that I'm not used to, it's kind of a blessing to me. But at the same time, I don't know, I think deep inside, I feel that I'm not capable of. I don't know. So I kind of procrastinate a little bit to start. I just push it to the next day and the next day and so on and so on. I think it's because I don't believe in myself. I mean, I know that I can do it, but deep inside, I think I don't know if I can do that. There is this kind of inner struggle in me that's really uncomfortable, and I have to push myself to start it. I always have to because, well, by now I've already know that I do this all the time and it's always the same struggle. And when I get to start, the majority of the times it's not that hard, and after all, I'm really capable of. So why do I doubt myself so much? I don't know, but it's kind of this stupid game that I just have to play before starting something new. And with this project being so white, it is out of my comfort zone, totally. I want to have fun making it. I want to pull it off. At the same time, I want to meet my daughter expectations. So that's what's been going on inside of my head. After collaging the paper, I covered it with this creamy white Giotto tempera to make it whiter. And now I'm adding some more texture, scraping it with the back of this paintbrush. I want these textures to resemble grasses. And while this tempera is still wet and my paper I glued is still wet also, I can scrape it, creating these white textures. I think you can see it here in my footage. It's quite nice. I really love this. So now I got a background full of this grasses type texture, and I'm hoping this will give a little bit more interest to the piece. Now I have to let it dry because my paper is all wobbly, but I know this paper and it will be flat when it dries. So now for the real work, I'll start with a cup of tea. It's always good, to relax and procrastinate a little more. And there I go with the graphite stick. I know this graphite is water soluble, so I'm using it to get some shading on my goat afterwards, mixing it with the white paint. So I just added more graphite where I want it to be darker. And then I'll have my white mix and just paint on top of the graphite, give it a little bit of scrubbing with the brush, and it will mix together, becoming this gray. In the end of this painting, you saw me adding a bit of gray paint also to make it softer. But I love the graphite texture, and it will show in some of the parts of this goat. Now I decided to put the head of the goat a little bit lower because it was too high. It wasn't correct. So I grabbed a graphite pencil, I think it's a 2B, and I sketched my goat a little bit lower. You can still see the first sketch, but I'll be covering it with my white mixed paint, and then I'll go with Giotto tempera on top of it, basically repeating the process that I did in all the background to get the same result. I'll even scrub it with the back of my paintbrush to get the texture. I think it took me a couple of coats of paint to get it to look the same color as the rest of the background. For painting the goat, I went with my white mix. That white I made myself with a lot of colors. And I'm applying thick brush strokes of paint in the directions of the fur of the goat to make it a little bit more realistic and texturized. Oh, there you go. I'm using the gray paint now because I covered a little bit of the graphite with the white paint, and I wanted to reinforce the shadows a little bit to give it more 3D effect, more volume. And now I'm adding the little bits of color this painting has, which is a brown and a pinkish color, to very specific spots of the goat. In the end, it will have a little bit of yellow also in the eyes, but I'm not there yet. You can see now up close the textures I'm having and the difference in whites between the goat and the background. It's not the same color as you can see. It's a bit subtle, but I think it's enough to detach the goat from the background. There you see me painting a second coat on the background, this time with the white Giotto tempera. This way I'll get some volume also on the goat. And that's done. I just have to get my paper off the pad. And it wasn't easy because the paper I glued on top of it reinforced the glue around the paper. But I did it, and after that I cut the excess paper. Okay, this is it. The goat is done. Here it is. My thoughts on it. I'm pretty happy with it. In fact, it's a little bit loose, like I intended it to be. At the same time, it's a bit realistic, like my daughter wanted it. And well, she's happy. I showed up and she said she liked it like that. I was going to cut it so it won't stand alone in all of this white space. And then I was going to frame it in this thing, but she didn't want it. She said she liked it like this. So I guess this is it. I'm not doing anything more to it. It's going like this to her bedroom. I guess when your client is satisfied, that means great job. What I like more about it is the texture in the background. I really love it. I'm really proud of it. You can see a little bit of the pinkish white peeking through, the whiter white. and it gives it some interest. But in the end, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it wasn't such a big struggle like I thought it would be. Like I told you before starting, my mind always plays this rough fight on me. But then, as it usually turns out, it wasn't that hard painting in white. As a matter of fact, as you saw, it wasn't titanium white in any of it, but it completely reads as white. So I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a thing or two about playing with whites. I certainly did. And if you want to share your thoughts with me in the comments, please feel free to do it. I would love to read them and answer them. And I'll see you in my next video. And until then, bye-bye. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell. All those things you know I need you to do for me to help me grow this channel. Thank you. And thank you a million. Bye.